I had no idea what my path was going to be when I left high school. Guidance counselor at New Albany High School said, well, your career aptitude test shows that you're good at computers. So kid, you're going to design computer hardware for a living. You're really good at this. You'll make a lot of money doing that, so off you go. I got a National Merit Scholarship, so I get all expenses paid to go to a technical college. And I get there and I'm miserable. I was good at that, but I didn't like doing it. And I realized I did not fit in there. It was a great school if you wanted to study computers, but I liked science and biology and literature, and nobody else there did, except one professor who taught English. And at the end of the semester, he takes me aside and says, listen, David, you enjoyed this class, didn't you? And I said, oh, yes, Dr. Dyer. I thought the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin was so interesting, and I'd always heard that The Pilgrim's Progress was a really boring book, but I thought it was actually very interesting, and I drew my own map. And he said, yeah, listen, you need to not be at this school. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, this is the last English or humanities course of any kind, course that you're ever going to have at this school. So if you like this stuff, if you react this way and give that up for the rest of your life, you're going to be miserable. And I realized that was more or less my plan. I was going to be miserable and earn a lot of money. I had no vision of the future. If I left, I would leave my national scholarship, my National Merit Scholarship behind. I would have to work my way through college. And I said, but I don't know what it is that I want. And he said, that's a problem. You need to figure that out. I said, well, what am I going to do? I can't just show up at a university and not know what I'm taking. And he said, people do it every day. That gave me the courage to quit the college I was at, leave my National Merit Scholarship behind, and go to Indiana University with no clue as to what I was going to do. I took an ancient history class, no interest in that, but it was fascinating. And the professor who taught this, it was like going to a movie. And so I would go and see him in office hours and say, I just thought this was amazing. And he asked me, so are you going to do anything about it? And I said, what do you mean? He said, so have you considered, if you like it this much, you seem to, you've considered ancient history or archaeology as a career path. And I realized I just had never thought that that sort of a life was for me. I don't know why, but I hadn't had somebody explain to me, of course this is open to you. If that's what you want, of course, go for it. You can do anything you want. And that professor made me think in terms of what do you want your path to be, because it can be anything. So what happens is, just like Luke Skywalker, I didn't realize this, just like Luke Skywalker, I start making excuses. But I can't afford this, and my family doesn't have much money, and I'm working as a janitor to get through college. That's my work study. He says, I don't want to hear excuses. Tell me how you're going to figure it out. And he put the responsibility squarely on me. And that is what's supposed to happen in a hero's journey. That's a good mentor. They're not doing the work for you. They're showing you the path, but that path, the only person that can walk it is you. So that was some of the best advice I ever got in my life, because there was no escaping it. That path is not something that's going to happen to me. It's what I'm going to make happen.